quick review of my 2002 Voigtlander Bessa R2. I'll review the camera while sprinkling in a few recent images to demonstrate its capabilities. This is very much my go-to camera. I take it mostly everywhere I go, and use it how most people would use their digital cameras, for holidays, business trips, photos of the kids, and just generally documenting our lives. It's quick, reliable, technically advanced, and solidly built. Like many Bessa users, I moved to the system after owning a Leica. In my case, it was a Leica M7. It wasn't that I didn't like the M7. It was a very good camera. Although there were a few things that bugged me about it, I mainly became nervous of taking it out solely because of its value. It cost me quite a bit of money, but after a few years of owning it, during a time in which 35mm film photography was enjoying a bit of a renaissance, the value of my Leica gear had gone up quite dramatically. I wasn't in love with it, so it made sense to sell up and buy a similar camera that I could feel more comfortable walking around with. Leica's M system cameras and Voigtlander's Bessa R2s are almost identical. Both are fully mechanical 35mm film cameras that share the same Leica M mount and have roughly the same ergonomics, roughly the same range of speeds, with only a few minor differences. Leicas are made in Germany to the highest standards. Although Voigtlander was originally an Austro-German company, the name is now used by a Japanese manufacturer called Cassina, who make well-respected, if slightly more commercial end cameras. When comparing a Bessa R2 to a Leica M, you'll first notice the Voigtlander has a bigger and brighter viewfinder. It is one of the biggest and brightest of any rangefinder, and is a joy to use, making focusing a doddle. That's 1-0 to the Voigtlander. Second, the flash sync speed on the Bessa R2 is 1/125th, which was a deal breaker for me. I like using flash and was getting pretty frustrated with the fastest flash sync speed of 1/60th on my Leica M7. 2-0 to the Bessa R2. The Bessa R2 has a manual frameline selector, which is handy, but a Leica has a self-timer, which the Voigtlander does not. Where the Leica really gains ground is with its build quality. Although the Bessa R2 is very well constructed, it is nowhere near as solid. It is a fully metal construction, but a lighter, tinier metal that feels solid but not quite as robust as a Leica, although it does have the benefit of being much easier to carry for long periods of time, something that appeals to me as my Leica could become a bit of a drag after a while. The Bessa R2 also comes in this rather fetching olive colour that looks pretty cool in my opinion. There are some interesting colour options with Leicas too, including a Safari edition, but they will run you into some pretty serious amounts of wonga. You will notice I also have the matching trigger winder. It's quite a smart little gadget that lets you advance the film with your left hand, allowing you to take shots in quicker succession than with the standard film advance lever. I must admit I rarely use it, as it seems very easy to accidentally double expose, or at least have two slightly overlapping images on your negative roll. It does have one important benefit though. It corrects the awkward strap lug layout of the camera. Without the winder, the strap lugs are on the front corners of the camera rather than the sides, which even with the weight of a lens causes the camera to tip backwards on the strap. This becomes pretty annoying very quickly, but pop on the trigger winder and shift the strap over to the winder's lugs and the camera hangs flat, and vertically too, so you can toss it over your shoulder and easily bring it to your eye with just one hand. Although a fully manual camera, the Bessa R2 does have a battery for the simple built-in light meter. I don't know if all of them suffer from this fault, but mine can be very temperamental in cold weather. I think it's because the battery is surrounded by cold metal. I previously owned an original Bessa R, which was made from plastic and didn't suffer from the glitchy exposure meter. Bessa R2 prices are on the rise. Expect to pay around £700 for a used body these days. If that seems like too much money, then you'd be wise to check out the original Bessa R. It doesn't accept Leica M mount glass, but will take Leica thread mount lenses. It shares the same bright viewfinder and has a self-timer. Although the body is mainly plastic, it's still very tough, and even lighter still. Original Bessa Rs currently go for around £400 and are a really nice way to get into 35mm rangefinder photography. The Bessa R and R2 are as good as any modern film camera. I thoroughly recommend them. Hopefully prices will remain accessible for a little while longer.